Hello and welcome to another how-to video. My name's Ditech, CTO at DVS, and today we're going to introduce something very special. Now it is hidden behind me. If you didn't see a glimpse of it, I am in our lovely Cardiff HQ. I am on my own. I've stayed on to make this video undisturbed because lots of people would be in it otherwise, but I want to make the maximum benefit of today's video outside. There is a little bit of wind. Hopefully it doesn't disturb the video too much, and for a change it isn't actually raining, so I can cope with a little bit of wind, just not the rain. So, without further ado, what is today's star product? Well, before we go any further, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I can wait longer than you can. All right, then we'll move on. Here is today's star product. It is the V-Scepter DVS AXPro tower. Now, there are lots of these rapid deployment mobile towers available on the market. This is a bit special. It is new to the market in the fact that we are using the Hikvision AXPro sensors and sounders and the alarm panel to communicate with our Hike Partner Pro or our Hike Connect, depending on how you want to roll it out to your customer base. You can either do Hike Partner Pro and then pass it on to your customer, so you'll be able to give like maintenance, configuration changes, etc. Or you can just hand it directly over using the Hike Connect app. Now, we'll run through the tower in a little bit more detail, but the tower is a fixed cost. It is a tower, so I'm 5'10", not 6'4", as some of you may be led to believe. I'm 5'10", so it comes up to about there on me, so it is quite a compact unit. It is a two-part unit. This top base or top pod can come apart. All of the electronics are essentially in this top pod, and we will show you that in a little bit more detail in a minute. This bottom pod here, they can be separated. You do have to take some butterfly clips out on each of the four corners. This top is detachable. It can be transported in the back of a car, in a small van, or as it is, in a larger van or a flatbed perhaps. It becomes very easy to maneuver as one man. If I was going to do it as one man, I would separate the unit, and being honest with you, and I would probably use a trolley to get it into situ on site, place it, bolt it together, turn it on, and away you go. Now, a couple of things. Each side has its own solar panel, which maximizes the potential to trickle charge the battery that's inside it. We'll talk about that in a minute. Each quadrant, or each side, here, and here, each one has a PIR camera. This is actually a Tritech from Hikvision. So it has a camera module in there
and
with a white light
light
here. So if anything's detected, it can illuminate the area. It also has a microwave and PIR sensor in this inner body here, and they are adjustable. So effectively what this gives you is a 360-degree coverage essentially around the perimeter. It's about 15 meters away. From this pod, about 15 meters away is sort of the optimum distance for detection. Now that is quite a distance, especially on vacant property or construction sites or an area where you want to give coverage. Now, a lot of people that since we sort of initially posted this have asked, what happens if you don't need the 360-degree coverage? For instance, this may be just looking at a wall or a hedge and it's not relevant to be detected, and you don't want the potential for it to go into alarm when the pod is alarmed. Absolutely fantastic. You can either do one or two things. You can actually leave the sensor fitted and turn the sensor off inside the unit itself, or via the app, you can program an area to include the sensors you want and only arm that area. So it may only be 2 out of the 4 sensors that are required. Very simple to do through the app, and we will show you that as a little walkthrough once we've done the main overview of this pod. But it's a very simple configuration. If you've used any of the Hikvision product, you know that it's very intuitive, very easy to use, and very easy to use and interact with the app itself. So any of these that aren't used, and they could be whether it's long-term or short-term, you can arm and disarm each one independently, or you can set an area up and arm only 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 or 1 or 4, etc. The choice is completely up to you, and we will show you that shortly. So each one has its own camera module. Now each camera module is a VGA. The reason it's VGA, and we are working on a new sensor actually, so currently it's VGA, that's enough video quality, or image quality should I say, to detect whether there's a human vehicle or no detection that is a consequence to you, and that way you can react to it. So when this unit is armed, you can do several things. A couple of things it can do. When this unit is armed, which is generally going to be out of hours, so on our site here, this is armed at night when the premises is vacant, and then during the day it's disarmed. That prolongs the battery life of the unit, and it also prevents it being a nuisance because actually it's a manned site at that time. We don't need it to be alarmed. Now, the beauty of that is you can set it for an auto schedule. This unit here is set to arm and disarm automatically with no intervention from myself. If I choose to, I can choose to manually arm and disarm the unit through the app at my own choosing outside of the schedule. No problem. And again, we will walk through that shortly. So each one has its own camera module. Each one inside here has its own adjustable detector, and there's lots of settings within the detector that can be adjusted to suit your installation, application and area of coverage. No problem. So again, we'll walk through how this sort of goes together. Each of these detectors has its own battery set inside, which gives around 2 years on average of battery life. So it's quite a long period of battery life. The solar panels all around will help trickle charge the main leisure lithium battery, which is inside this unit. Again, we will show you that shortly. The unit by default comes with a 33 amp hour battery. Now that's enough in a typical installation to run the alarm panel, which has got the 12 to 6 volt converter fitted to run off the battery. That's enough in this alarm panel to run it for 4 to 6 weeks in general. Could be longer depending on the weather, location and how often you arm, disarm, interact and how heavily the signals are being used, etc. So it's 4 to 6 weeks. Now we can extend the battery life. We can change the 33 amp hour battery and we can fit a 100 amp hour battery inside this unit. There is an additional cost to that. Now that gives us the benefit of giving 4 to 6 months longevity. During the winter mainly, when the sun isn't present in the UK as much as it would be in the summer, although it's been quite vacant this summer, that allows us to give a more longer term deployment because the detectors themselves are capable of running for 2 to 3 years dependent on usage. It's more the alarm panel itself which needs the consistent power to keep it online and to keep it signaling. So we can change the battery for 100 amp hour. We can get sort of around 4 months deployment out of it. Again, if we had to, we could double up on the battery life again to give an almost year-round deployment. So we can fit 2 larger batteries in the base of here, connect it up, and then that gives us an even longer, up to 1 year deployment time. So if it's a very long project where you're fitting, a fit and forget project, let's call it, where you're fitting this, it could be agriculture, vacant property, construction, education, festivals, event spaces, the list goes on and on and on. Garages, tractors, all sorts of things. Construction sites are continually move. You can move this with those construction sites. Very simple to move. But effectively, you can make this a long-term deployment by fitting larger batteries in the base. So, before we get actually into the technology itself, when you buy the unit for the set price, it comes fully assembled and fully fitted with the equipment. That's the 4 PIR cameras, the alarm panel inside. It has a shock and tilt sensor. The reason it has a shock and tilt sensor, if somebody bashes the unit or somebody pushes it over, then that will give you an alarm that the unit has been tampered with or potentially tried to be moved or in fact moved. And that allows you to be reactive. There may be nobody on site and it may be during the day when the unit is disarmed, but then the tilt and shock sensor will allow you to be reactive to it, get somebody to site if need be, and then correct that situation. So inside there, it has almost like sort of tamper-proof circuit in there. So it comes with that. It comes with the 4 PIR cameras, 4 solar panels. It comes in black by default, and it comes with the battery, all of the necessary connections, and it comes with the alarm panel and the external bell. We chose to fit our external bell inside this unit. 1, because we feel it looks better, and 2, this almost becomes a speaker. So when it goes off, it becomes almost like a speaker box, which actually, in my opinion, amplifies the sound and gives it a nicer effect. So we fit the speaker inside. You can, of course, fit the external sound on top of this here or on one of these side panels. The choice is up to yours. By default, we would fit it inside, and that we think it's more effective. It's actually neater and less to bash around and to go wrong, in our opinion. There are other things that we can do with it. So if you have a typical installation like here in our DVS compound, if we wanted to fit a couple of detectors around the compound, because this may be, again, a site that we want to protect more than this pod can reach, and we want to extend our coverage, It's a typical Hikvision AXPro panel. We are able to extend the coverage simply by adding other detectors. So you buy those other detectors from DVS, they could be wireless contacts, they could be a wireless panic button for the security guard that's on site. It could be another PIR camera that could be fitted by the bin store, or as a remote site around the corner that is within the transmission distance of the alarm panel itself, and you just want to increase the coverage of this unit by adding those detectors. That's absolutely fine. It is not capped to this amount. It's a 96 zone panel, and this has the ability to be connected via LAN. You wouldn't typically connect it via LAN because of the nature of the rapid deployment, but it could be. It has Wi-Fi, again, could be connected by Wi-Fi, or as our unit has here, I've just put a simple 3 pay-as-you-go SIM card in there, and I just keep topping it up as required and needed. Very little data draw, especially if it's not going into alarm and sending images to your phone, to the HikeConnect app, or to ARC. It could be online to an ARC, to a monitoring station. They could be the ones getting the signal and then reacting to it, either calling the key holder, or it could be a remote guard. There is a bit of noise over there, apologies. They're fixing a car by the looks of it. Apologies about that. But again, it does come fully fitted, ready to deploy. 2 things I would recommend you do before you deploy it. It's much better to do it in the comfort of your office, in the warm and the dry, in the comfort of a nice sterile environment. I would personally charge up the lithium battery to its full potential. So I use a special, fast charger for lithium batteries, and that could be for your car, truck, etc. And I fast charge the battery within a couple of hours. Sorry, it's a bit windy. Within a couple of hours, we can fully charge that battery. I would make sure the batteries are all fresh in the detectors. I would add the panel to my HikeConnect app or my Hike Partner Pro, and I would get it ready as if I was going to deploy it. Much easier to test it and be live, ready to go. Simply then, once you've commissioned it and configured it how you want, turn the devices off if it's a long distance. If not, put it in the back of the van, back of the car, take it to site, bolt it together, turn it on, arm it and disarm it as you need, or schedule it, hand it over, whatever you need to do. But that's what I would do. Make sure all the batteries are charged up, ready to deploy to get the maximum benefit and deployment time from this unit. Like I said, it comes fully assembled like this by default, but it does come in black. It comes in this sort of shiny black material. For a small, and I mean a very small additional cost, you can have this wrapped in any decal that you require. All you do is you send us, or we'll work with you with our graphic designer, we'll get a design that you want to use. It's very simple design. They then print it out and they wrap it. There's a small additional cost for that. And that is really the only things that you really need to be concerned about. So it is a fixed cost. It does come fully assembled. Very cost-effective unit. Super cost-effective. Now there is, if I just show you over here, up in our other corner of the thing, we've got another Sentinel mast up there. Now, very different solution in that is Hikvision cameras, long-term deployment, bigger solar panels, more ruggedized, 3 or 4 times the cost depending on the configuration. This is a very cost-effective, very easy to deploy, and very long-term and ruggedized unit, as you'll see in a minute. So 4 solar panels, grab handles. This can be detached. It has 4 adjustable legs, which you can adjust by winding them down like this. Each leg has 2 pins for it. You can put ground spikes through the pins to secure that to the ground. There's also a hole straight through the middle. There's a metal plate construction on the bottom. You could also put the ground spike through the middle of the unit, if that's what you prefer, through the complete center of gravity. Or you can take the solar panel out. One of these solar panels actually comes out. You can put sandbags, breeze blocks, etc. in there. There's not much inside, and I will show you, but I'll get it ready to show you. So the one, there is security screws that go underneath this unit. I've removed them for obvious reasons to show you it. So inside there's a waterproof gland which detaches the solar panel connection from this top unit, which allows you to separate the 2 units, and then simply sandbags, bricks, Spirofix through the middle, and adjustable legs. The adjustable legs, I'd say they're about 6 inches long, so it can allow you to adjust it to give it as level as possible. Being honest with you, you're not going to fit on a 45-degree slope. It's not that kind of unit. Whilst you probably could and ground anchor it, not the best. The detection won't work that well, and the images will be poor. So it is meant for stable-ish, level-ish ground, okay? So yeah, so additional cost is for the graphics material, as we've said, and then any additional upgrades. If you require something slightly different, that's a case by case. We can change the equipment if you really needed to. So all you need to do is speak to us on what that may look like, and we can have that case-by-case conversation with you. We're already working on a couple of new groundbreaking units. Based on this chassis, we are going to be looking at releasing, I'm not going to give you too much detail, but some industry leading verification variables to this unit. Apologies, it's been a very long day. So we're going to do some industry variables to this unit for different applications, for like health and safety, and some other applications which I probably will keep to myself right now. But do look out for that, because we're super excited on where this design can lead us, not just in the rapid deployment detection. Much more cost effective to do this than the full CCTV deployment over there. Okay. And it can be fully monitored as well, as we've said several times. So what I will do is the top plate, all you need on the top plate, there's security screws all around. So that solar panel that I did just take out has got 2 security screws that are underneath the unit. So you do have to release that first. You can't just go up to it and pull the solar panel out like you think you might. It doesn't. They are secured in place for this. So security screwdriver, and they are big security screws. So we're just going to take this off, and then we're going to relocate the camera to give you a much better idea of how the unit looks inside. And hopefully it won't rain that much. Okay, so one screw out. This unit has been designed so well. Working with VSEPT, who are a specialist in this area, to get this unit ready for market has been nothing short of pleasurable. Okay, so I'm going to put that there because I need that later. Take this top cover off, and there's nothing fitted to that top cover. You can see it's a very ruggedized, very tough molded plastic. So that will take some bashing. I'm not saying go and bash it, but it will. Okay, so I'm going to sort of take you on a bit of a free tour here. So you're going to have to excuse me while I disconnect the camera. Okay, so you can see in the unit here. So this is inside the unit. So you have that waterproof gland, you can disconnect it there, the solar panels, the connections fit, which then lead up to in there, which allows you to separate this here. That is the external bell that I talked about. So that, if any detection when the unit is armed, will go off, as well as send a signal to the app, very loud indeed, and it should give you an instant deterrent. 4 detectors, like I said, the camera module here, the tri-tech detector here, and they're labelled for ease of use. And you can see the adjustable legs here, with the ground spike attachment should you need it. This is the solar panel itself, and there's 4 of them, highly efficient. Okay, so inside the unit itself we have, hopefully you can see in this, we have the alarm panel itself. So this is the Hikvision AXPro alarm panel. You can see it better from this angle. You have the battery that's underneath here that's connected. You have on the bottom there the shock sensor, so shock and tilt sensor, where my finger is, that white long bar. These are all detachable, so you can unscrew it, and then this all slides out for ease of use. Okay, all top quality parts. So you have Victron stuff in there as well. Look, like I said, this is working on a pay-as-you-go 3 SIM card currently. There's the other side of the battery, and you can see on the bottom the where my finger is there. Well, I can focus on it. It's trying to focus. Apologies. Let's see if I can. You can see there where my finger is there. In each corner, they're the sort of butterfly screws, which you have to unscrew to detach it. So it is pretty secure. Okay. And then the beauty of this is, if I go try and find the best one, so as you can see here, where the detector is here, simply to remove it, there's a plate here. All you need to do is slide this plate up. So that's the plate that holds it in there, look. And you can see the back of the detector, and the detector just pops out the back. You can program it, change the batteries, and when you're finished, you just simply slide this black secure plate in, lock it in there, and it's done. It's as simple as that. You could not get any simpler, guys. It really is as simple as that. It is that simple. a thing of beauty, right? Simplicity in its simplest form. I'm just going to give you a sort of a walk around there. Only one detachable solar panel. The others are actually fixed in more permanently than the one removable one for a reason, so you can get out the cable and put additional weight or the ground spike through the middle. That, ladies and gentlemen, is effectively our technology. Okay? And just put you back on here. So apologies while I put you back. So, how does it work? Good question. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this back together, put the lid back on it, put it back together, and I'm going to transfer you to the app. What the app will do is, one, I'll do me filming it on the app, so you can see how the alarm works, how I can set and unset it and program it. But then also, when we set it off, I'll film it, so you can see me walking in front of it, and you can hear the alarm on the app itself, on the video and on the app. So I'll do like a two-dimensional sort of recording on it. That's the Hikvision AXPro Centinel-Pod in conjunction with Vceptor and DVS. You know you want this already. We've already had tons of inquiries. We're super excited to see where this goes. Let me put it back together and I will transfer you to the phone where we'll have a little app walkthrough, because that is the best thing about this, is the app. Okay, so I'm on the standard Hike Connect app, as you can see. Lots of other devices on here, but we're focusing on the AXPro Hike Pod. Centinel-Pod to me and you. As you can see, it's the one with the picture in there. So if I open this up, I've added this to my Hike Connect account directly. Now you could add it to Hike Partner Pro and then share it to your customer base. That is entirely up to you. But for this demonstration purposes, it will work exactly the same. So if I open up the unit here, you can see under device, you can see there's a shock detector. It tells you all of the battery levels as well. Tritech camera 1, Tritech camera 2, Tritech camera 3, Tritech camera 4, and the AXPro sounder. If I open up any of these, so if I open up the shock detector, it tells you the battery status, signal strength, online lid status, temperature, all sorts of stuff. Lid shock detection, etc. Now I can go into the settings at the top right hand, and I can change it. So I can rename it. I can give it a linked area, so that Hike AXPro Pod alarm. I've added all of the devices to the same area. So when the unit arms, they're all online at the same time. You could add two areas and have half of it armed and half of it not armed. The setup is really up to you. Most applications would probably have all of the detectors on at the same time. And if there was a detector that was looking in an area that didn't need to be detected, you would just take that out of that area. Very simple. So we class this as an instant zone. So when the pod is armed, it goes instantly into alarm if detected. But you can have delay, follow, 24-hour, panic or timeout. So if you used a wireless panic fob for a security guard, you could put that as a panic zone. And if they press that, a notification to the ARC or the another guard using the app, etc., or control room would get that notification and they can respond accordingly. You could make the tilt and shock detector a 24-hour zone. So if the pod was disarmed and somebody tilted or moved it, shocked it, it would then go into alarm to show you that somebody's tampering with it. So there's lots of different options in there. Most of them you don't need for this specific setup. You can do double knock, cross zone. Because it's a Hikvision product, if you've got different like Hikvision IP cameras on the same site and it's all linked into the same app, you can, using Hike Partner Pro, even using this setup specifically, you can start adding in IP cameras from NVRs, etc. Do you really need to do that? Probably not in most instances, because of the application that this would be installed in, because it's a mobile and not a fixed site. But you can, if you want, do that. You can do sounder delays. You can do link PIR cameras. You can have other cameras linked to it. Primary contact, external contact 1, 2, shock detection, shock sensitivity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've left it at 4. You can put tilt detection on, and then the tilt angle, depending on how the angle you want it to go off on, or how much tilt, LED, polling rate, etc., signal strength test, etc. It's really, really straightforward. And again, if I go to a Tritech camera, very simple to set up, all of the same detail. Go to the settings. And again, instant zone, stay arm bypass, all of these different options, mainly not used. Anti-masking, yes. If somebody tries to put something in front of it, you probably do want that on. And then image resolution, this is important. By default, it's 320 by 240. I've increased it to 640 by 480, which is like VJ resolution, effectively. LED is on. Alarm buzzer, yes. So if you walk in front of it and it's armed, the alarm buzzer on the unit will beep. Images in series. Now, I've made that 10. By default, it's 4. I've made that 10. So on activation, it'll take 10 stills and it will send it to the app as 10 stills, which effectively creates a mini movie, a 3-second movie. You don't have to do that. You could just send 1 or 2 if you really want to, if you're worried about data consumption. And all you want to see is, was it triggered by a human or a vehicle? Yes. Then 1 or 2 might be enough for you. I make it 10 because I think that's a great way to interact with the unit. But again, it's up to you. Polling rate, signal strength test, detection zone test, fine mean bypass. And again, each one can be set up individually. Very straightforward. And then with the sounder, again, all of the same detail. And then you can do the alarm volume at its highest. Alarm duration, 1 minute 30. So it'll ring for 1 minute and 30 before it stops. Alarm strobe flash, I've turned it off. The unit is fitted inside the unit, so they're not going to see the strobe. The benefit of having the external sounder fitted on the outside is the strobe would go and it may add a visual deterrent as well. Kind of up to you, really. Arm disarm buzzer, yes. Lid open, the possibilities are endless. Volume test, it'll tell you how loud it is. So that is very simple device setup. So all you need to do is turn the devices on, enroll them. You can program one of these. As soon as you power the panel, put the SIM card in there. You could probably program one of these in about 30 minutes. It took me about 15 minutes to get all of the detectors online programmed how I wanted it. It really is not difficult. But I'm not going to go through it from scratch because I've done separate videos on that already. And on the status, it tells you about the panel itself. So main power supply is connected. It's actually connected to a battery, permanent battery supply. Ethernet is disconnected, Wi-Fi, and what it's connected to. Cellular network strength is on SIM 1, and there's the number. Carrier, data usage, battery, lid, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so going back to the pod itself. It just went back to the top, apologies. Where is it there? So device, status, and then if I go to area, it's an area one, so you can change the image, put whatever you want. I just put that image in there. Enable the area, and then I've linked devices, and I put all of those devices in the same area. So when it's armed, they all arm together. You could effectively have 2 areas, like left and right side or something like that. Effectively, it's so simple to do it this way. And if you wanted to remove one, you could just simply remove it from the area. Auto arm. This is where, so they're the linked devices. Now, auto arm is on and it arms at 10 o'clock at night, and then auto disarm is enabled and it disarms at 6 o'clock in the morning. You can change that to be whatever you want. Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you choose that. I think it's easier to use it as an auto arm. You could effectively arm it and disarm it manually through the app as well, like I've said earlier. The choice is up to you, but you know, this auto arm gives a fantastic function. Weekend exception as well, and you can program the weekend exception in, so they could be armed 24/7 over Saturday and Sunday, for instance, and then you can put holidays accepted in there as well. Okay, so going into the main setting itself. So user management, I've only got 1 user, but I can add more users. Simply fill all the details in and then share it with them if I wanted to from the app. System, configuration, and then English, UTC and DST is enabled. System options, these are all the different options. So panel sound, system volume, fault prompts when armed. You can go on forever with this. You set this how you want it to be set. It's not PD 6662 compliant in that essence, in reality, probably because of the nature of it. So I probably wouldn't set those functions. But again, jam in sensitivity settings, motion detection, power saving mode, panel fault check mode. It tells you all of the faults and how report delay time before they tell you. Arming options, enrollment mode, that's to add new devices. Regional certificate PD 6662 if you want to use that. If you enable that, it does change some of the alarm setup, the configuration options to be compliant. So just be warned if you are using that because you think you can use that to an ARC and you want to use that grade, you know, or that certification process, by all means enable it, but it will change some of the configuration options for the panel itself to be compliant. And again, network camera, we don't have any network cameras, but technically you could add them. Not through the, if it's only connected by the SIM card, you wouldn't do that. Area, so I've got up to 32 areas. Actually, you only need one area or maybe two, and then you can put the devices in there, auto arm, and again, you can set that through here also in the area. Communication parameters, so wired network, Wi-Fi, cellular data, push notifications. So if you want to go to ARC 1 and ARC 2, you enable it and put the details in there and then change it from there depending on the ARC and the protocols being used. So it will definitely communicate to an ARC. And again, up to 2 different ARCs. Push notifications to the app. You can change what comes through to the phone. What this does as well is you can put your phone number in there. For instance, I made one up, but you could put one in there. It will text you when it's arm, disarm, any faults, any alarms. So not only does it give you SMS, but it also gives you app notifications as well. So very, very cool. Cloud service, notification by email, FTP, NAT, intercom service. You need if you want to use the intercom service, it's something we're actually looking to use. You need to enable this, but you need a device, a sounder with the intercom capability. Now, there's more to follow on this. What that allows us to do is put a sounder in there, which allows us to give live two-way audio from the app to that sounder. Not quite available yet in the UK. It's something we're trying to bring quickly to market to put inside the pod. So actually, if you do see any activation, you can give live two-way audio via that intercom service. More to follow on that. Maintenance, reboot, etc. Configure Wi-Fi. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm not doing that. And then authorization. And then you've got the arm disarm functions. So what I'm going to do now is quickly arm this panel. Obviously, it's not 10 o'clock at night. So I am going to arm the panel. I'm sat in my car, so I'm out of sight of the unit. So I'm going to treat this like a vacant site. I'm going to arm the panel quickly. So we're going to go, yes, we're leaving. So processing. AXPro Hikvision bypassed. Away armed. It's now armed. All the notifications come through to the app. They also come through on text message. I won't show you the text message. That's exactly what it says on the text message, but it does show you that. Now it's armed. I can go and walk in front of this and it will trigger it. You should hear the sounder go at the same time. There we go. I don't know if you can hear that. That's quite loud. It's ear-piercing loud. That would be enough, in my opinion, to get rid of you. So I'm going to disarm it. Silenced. And I'm going to disarm it. Restore it. There we go. Now you can see here all of the notifications. So alarm silence, armed, burglary alarm. So press the burglary alarm. It's processing the unit. From Tritech camera 1, and you can see there. And again, you can download it. You can see that is enough video to show that there was somebody there. So save to local storage. So I've actually saved that so I can use that. What that allows us to do is, if the subject gets closer and keeps triggering the alarm, you're going to get more notifications through to the app. So you'll get more detail. I disarmed it before I got more videos through. But that is effectively how it works. And I've just downloaded that, but you can clearly see there's a vehicle and a human in there, and you can be reactive to that. You might not need to know necessarily who it is, because you just want to be reactive that there's someone there. You can get the local guard there, or you can actually get you know, a tannoy, or you can get the key holder, etc., or even the police, if it was that kind of system on site to deal with that. So it is extremely handy. And like I said, we are actually working on a higher res camera anyway as we speak, and a whole new design for generation 2 and 3, in fact. But again, all of the information comes through here. You can download it, and you can get full basically a full log of everything that goes on for evidential purposes. If somebody has disarmed it and then done something, you can find out who disarmed it, when they disarmed it, and what they did effectively. You can see all the user information is there. And that really is it. That is as simple as this unit gets. Now, there probably is loads of questions. Again, if there is lots of questions, please do drop us a comment or drop us an email at contact@dvs.co.uk, or better still, get in contact with your very friendly DVS sales rep, where they will be more than helpful in giving you those answers and working with us if we need to do any alterations that suit your application especially. Okay, I am going to do this on the camera now, where I can actually film it being activated, so it looks like a little bit, I guess, more interactive. So I'll turn this phone off and I'll transfer it back to the camera and do the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing now. I'm actually just going to go and wait around the corner. So we're going to arm the pod, and then you're going to see the effectiveness of this pod being activated with me coming around the corner. So before we do it, let me quickly get the app up and running again. So we're going to arm this quickly. Oh, there's a bit of wind again. Apologies. So I'm right by it. It's now armed, and it went off straight away because I'm right by it. You can hear how loud that is. That's loud. That is it. That's how quick it is. I armed it next to it. Of course, it was going to go off as soon as I moved, but that's how reactive it is. As soon as it's armed, it's ready to go. It's a great demonstration. All the notifications are coming through now. Great demonstration of how quick this actually works. And then if you look at the camera here, just going to download it. So again, it went off extremely quickly, just downloading some footage. Can you see me? Yes, you can. So just waiting for this footage to download. This was Tritech camera 2 this time, so it was the one I was stood next to, funny enough. But yeah, fantastic unit. While I wait for this, fantastic unit, easy to transport, wrapped in any decal you want for an additional small cost, can be separated to be moved, ruggedized, weatherproof, lots of different applications as we've already discussed. All the other parts, if one part is damaged, they're very interchangeable, so we can effectively move all of these parts around, or we can change them, so it becomes a very eco-friendly setup. You're not, if one of these breaks, or the panels, etc., you're not then replacing the whole setup, you're just replacing that one part. Very modular in design, which is very cool indeed. Yeah, that's it. I'm just trying to download this thing. I think my Wi-Fi's gone. I'll get rid of the Wi-Fi a second. Turn the Wi-Fi off. And again, it's just downloading it now. But it's effectively the same as you've already seen. And that's it. There is no more to say about it. If you've got any questions, like I said, contact your friendly DVS sales rep, or drop us a contact us through our website. We'll help you the best we can. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. We're super excited to be working with Vceptor to offer this to you. And again, look forward to lots and lots of sales of it. And do look out for our new application-specific pods that will be coming very soon. Stay tuned and see you next week for another how-to video. And for those that are interested, that was the video of me setting it off. It's very glitchy, I know that. Let me just sort of clean that up a bit. Yeah, much better on the phone, but you get the idea.